Hey guys, so we are just under 11 months away from the release of Star Wars Episode 9, and we are getting closer to the very end of filming by writer and director J.J. Abrams before we get that official title reveal by Disney and Lucasfilm. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing that a lot of people are very intrigued about when it comes to this movie is, of course, exactly how J.J. is going to tie it not only into the prequels and the originals, but also to other forms of canon material as well. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art, and storyboard descriptions, etc. One of which has all to do with the character of Obi-Wan Kenobi and, of course, actor Ewan Mcgregor. Now, what's really intriguing is that it's described that J.J. Abrams and the visual effects team are in negotiations with Ewan Mcgregor to initiate facial scans of Ewan to mix with a CGI version of Sir Alec Guinness to create an Obi-Wan that bridges between both Ewan McGregor's and Alec Guinness's. Additionally, it's described that JJ will be borrowing dialogue of Ewan McGregor from Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, to use as reference material in Episode 9, and that Ewan is set to do some kind of voiceover work, just like with The Force Awakens, except in greater detail, while offering more lines. It's described that this version of Obi-Wan will be a mixture between both old and young, and that it was discussed that they should, at one point in time, make Ewan appear to be older in the version of Obi-Wan Kenobi. So I want to go over a couple of parts about this, but first things first, my big question for you guys: how do you feel about a new version of Obi-Wan Kenobi, where it's going to be a mixture between both old and young? Now, honestly, I don't know how I feel about that. I feel that if you're going to bring Obi-Wan Kenobi back into the mix in Star Wars Episode 9 and really bring, like a big close to the Skywalker saga, I feel that we should get the Obi-Wan that we all know and love that we saw at the very end of either Return of the Jedi or just Ewan McGregor himself in the form of a Force Ghost. However, what they're doing here is, it seems as though the Disney and Lucasfilm, JJ and crew, and everybody a part of the visual effects team, they're trying to cater to all fans around the world. They're trying to create an Obi-Wan that's going to be satisfying to both Alec Guinness fans and to both Ewan McGregor fans. Now, I will agree that it may be a little off if they were to have the younger version of Ewan McGregor in the form of a Force Ghost, where it would just be like Ewan McGregor from Revenge of the Sith, except in a ghostly form with a blue hue and transparency. However, this version of Obi-Wan is going to involve some CGI techniques in order to recreate the facial structure of course, Alec Guinness, while also applying some of the facial elements of, of course, Ewan McGregor into the mix as well. So not only that, some voiceover work is actually to be done by Ewan McGregor in a similar fashion to what he did with The Force Awakens. Now, not only does this make sense, and would this honestly be a great way for JJ to answer some of the burning questions in Episode 7, the biggest question of all is, why was Obi-Wan reaching out to Rey? Or why was Rey hearing a moment either in the past or the future by Obi-Wan Kenobi? Rey, these are your first steps. Why would he say that to Rey, right? And if J.J. Abrams can give us an actual answer, I think it's really going to make a lot of fans happy. Now, given the fact that Rey is going to have a very important lineage in this film, and I know a lot of you guys are probably very annoyed with, her having the possibility of her being a Kenobi. I know that some people out there either really dislike that idea or do like that idea. I myself personally, I would find it rather poetic if she ended up being the granddaughter of Obi-Wan Kenobi, where Kylo Ren would be the grandson of course, Darth Vader / Anakin Skywalker, where you eventually get these two characters fighting together once again that are descendants of the ones that we saw on Mustafar in Revenge of the Sith. How poetic would that be? Now, moving on from that, this whole entire technique of creating basically an older and younger version of Obi-Wan Kenobi at the same exact time, where Ewan McGregor would also be offering new forms of dialogue, where J.J. Abrams would also be using, of course, some of the dialogue from Revenge of the Sith as reference material for Episode 9. So you can see that there's a lot of work going into this film, specifically with the cameo and/or scenes of Obi-Wan Kenobi in this movie. Now, we do know that this film is going to have a lot of revelations. Disney, Lucasfilm, JJ, and crew are really going all out in order to really satisfy fans around the world. This is actually considered to be a historical movie, a movie that is basically decades in the making because of how it's going to end things. And with that being said, the fact that this movie is going to have saga-wide implications, and even how Richard E. Grant said before in an interview, I believe it was with the Radio Times, where he actually stated that this movie is going to have earth-shaking twists and turns. So it only makes one wonder exactly who Rey is, how Obi-Wan is going to be involved in the story, what Luke Skywalker revelations will be in this movie. I honestly am so mystified right now, and just fascinated about this movie. And I'm very curious because we do know that Disney and Lucasfilm are holding back on any kind of promo material at the time in order to boost the anticipation of this movie. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.